So we are going to take a look at evaluating your logarithms using your calculator. It is going to be important that you use your calculator following along. So I'll give you the link to the online calculator, or you can use your TI-30XA or whatever other calculator you have. So your calculator has buttons just for log base 10. Remember, log base 10, we can just do LOG. And for the natural log, which is log base E. Those are the only two buttons that most calculators have. Some calculators you'll be able to change the base, but most of them are just going to have those two. So if I want to evaluate logarithms, and sometimes I'm going to need to round, if I want to evaluate logarithms, starting with just log base 10 and natural log, and then we'll talk about what if the base is not log base 10. So I'm going to use my online calculator, which is here, and you can see there's a log button right there. So log, I can actually also just type it in, and it's 0.01. So I just am going to type in 0.01, close my parenthesis, and you can see over here, the answer is -2. So that's my evaluation. Now, if you're using your TI-30XA, which most of you have, your log button, log base 10, is right there. So that's the button. And on that one, you will actually put the number in first and then click log. So if you're using this calculator, pause and just go do this problem on your calculator so that you know how to get it punched in. On most scientific ones, if you can't see it being written in front of you, you're going to put the number and then press log. Okay, example 2. Log base 10 of 10,000. So again, I'm going to go here and I'm going to do log base 10 of 10,000 and I get 4. I could have actually evaluated both of these using my log loop, and I'll leave that as an exercise to you. Okay, let's do example 3. Now you can see this one's not a power of 10. Both of these were a power of 10. Yes, even the decimal. That's 1 over 100, which is 10 to the -2. Oh my goodness, look at that. This one's not a power of 10, so this one I'm going to need to round. So log 683. Again, if you're using your online one, you can go log 683, and it's 2.8344. Now, let's talk about rounding. We are going to round to the nearest hundredth unless told otherwise. So, pay attention. My hundredth spot is right here. That's 2 decimal places. I look to the right of that. It's a 4, which tells me to stay the same. So it's going to be 2.83. So rounding to 2 decimal places there, I'm getting 2.83. So on that one, I needed to round because it wasn't a perfect power of 10. All right, example 4. Now on example 4, I am doing natural log. So that's an LN. When I write it, I do cursive. But on your calculator, it kind of looks like a IN on some of them. It's LN. They use capital L, capital N for natural log. So the button is right here. Again, if you're doing a TI-30XA or any other scientific where you cannot see what you're typing in, you're going to put the number first and then hit the natural log. But if I am over here, I forget what it was I was typing in, then it's going to be, I'm going to go natural log of 17. So using my online, I'm going to clear, I'm going to push natural log, and I'm going to type in 17. So this one is another one where we're having to round. So let's take a look at this one. And again, I'm going to end up rounding down. I probably should have picked one where I rounded up, but I didn't, so oh well. 2 decimal places is right there. I look to the right. It's less than 5, so it's going to be 2.5. 3. And one more example with this, and we'll move on. Okay, so this one says natural log of e to the 8th. So I'm going to do it on this one first. I'm going to go natural log, and I can either go right here, this e to the x, or I could literally type in an e. But if I do this one, it already gives me the exponent. And notice what I get. I get 8. It's actually one of our properties. We're going to talk about that later. Doesn't seem to want to write for me. Now, if you're on your TI or any other calculator, your scientific where you can't see, your e to the x is right there. So you're actually going to go 8, click second and click that button for e to the x, and then you're going to click the natural log. So again, pause and try the question on your calculator so you know how to type it in when the time comes. Okay, now what if it's not a base 10 or a base e? What we are going to do in that case is called the change of base formula. So my change of base formula allows me to change from a base of b to a base of anything, but usually I'm going to go log base 10. So it's going to be log of x over log of b. I could use natural log if I wanted to, as long as I'm consistent. So what that's going to do is allow me to punch it into my calculator. So we are going to evaluate each logarithm. This is our change of base formula right here. Circle it, star it, make sure we see it. And we're going to use that to do log base 16 of 64. So I don't have a base 16 on my calculator. So what I'm going to plug in, it's always this number that comes first. I'm going to do log base 10 of 64 over log base 10 of 16. Now, let me warn you, that is not equal to log of 64 over 16. It's not. So don't do that. Don't try and reduce when you have the logs there. Okay, so I'm going to go to my calculator. And I actually prefer my online one here because I can go fraction, log 64, click into the bottom, log 16, and I'm going to get 1.5 or 3/2. Now I could have solved this one without my calculator by going 16 to the y equals 64 and then putting them both to a base of 2. That's why I get a number that doesn't have to be rounded. All right, let's do example 7. So log base 2 of 54. This one's going to need to be rounded. And I know it's going to need to be rounded because 54 is not a perfect power of 2, and I can't make it into a perfect power of 2. So this one, I'm going to go log 54. It's always this number first. That number goes in the numerator. Over log of 2. Again, don't try and reduce. Go straight to your calculator. If you're using your TI-32, you're going to have to be careful with it. So when we're done, go to your calculator and try your calculator again. So again, I'm going to make a fraction. I'm going to go log of, I forgot what it was, 54 over log of 2. And I'm going to get, darn it, this one rounds down too. I should have picked one that rounded up. So this is what I get. To the nearest hundredth is right here. I look to the right, that tells me to stay the same. So it's going to be 5.75. Okay, one last example, our example 8, we're going to do log base 3 of 1 over 163. So this one we need to be careful about. So when I punch this one in, it's going to be log base 10 of 1 over 163 over log of 3. So again, I kind of prefer the online one for this one because I can go fraction, log, I guess I can't just type it in, log, and I can go fraction 1 over 163 over log of 3. And here's what I get. Notice it's negative. You know why it's negative? Because it's a fraction that's less than 1. That's why we end up with a negative number there. And on this one, I am going to end up rounding up. So here, hundredths place is the 3. I look to the right, it's a 6. That tells me to round up. So it's going to be negative 4.64. That's my answer on that one. Okay, so you're going to practice this as well as evaluating some without a calculator, and then we'll continue working with our logarithms. Okay.